Is this thing on? Welcome back to Big Mouth and fancy seeing you here in June. I'm very welcome, my friends, and especially my enemies. Come in, sit down, no touching. I don't do the touching. And welcome to Friday's. Is it Friday already? Yes. Friday's edition of the DC Movies and TV Daily. Wow, welcome to a glorious morning out here in Cyprus. And today's main headline is that J.J. Abrams finally pens the deal to work with Warner Brothers exclusively. So that's him and his wife Katie McGrath, both the co-founders of their Bad Robot production company or studio, whatever you want to call it. And originally, those production companies were behind projects like Alias and Lost, and slowly, and obviously Star Trek 2009 and Star Trek Into Darkness, the Mission Impossible films, they took them over a few years back as well. So, they've become bigger and bigger and bigger, and they're making a lot of money. Now, the relationship that J.J. Abrams had with Warner Brothers was this, that he had a deal with Peter Roth at Warner Brothers Television. There was an existing deal. So let me explain to you how this works. J.J. Abrams was already working with Warner Brothers through the TV division. In fact, the Fringe TV show was distributed by Warner Brothers. That was a Warner Brothers TV show. So he had a relationship with the then Warner Brothers TV president, Peter Roth, who's been there for years, from Smallville and other projects as well. He's just recently stepped down from that position, and he's there to kind of help with the handover. So JJ already had a relationship, so to speak, with Warner Brothers through the TV division, but now he's signed a digital deal, a gaming deal, a movie deal, a TV deal. So it's an exclusive deal with Warner Brothers. So what's being said is there will be an opportunity for JJ to make stuff for third parties. He's still making stuff for Apple and Paramount. He's got to finish those projects off. Basically, this is how it's going to work. So apparently, third-party selling on stuff for JJ was very important. I bet it was, JJ. But the point is this, that Warner Media will have first refusal of any of his ideas and content. And if they don't want it, then they'll say, all right, get rid of it and make some little pocket money for yourself, JJ. That's how it's going to work. There's no way he's going to be making stuff without Warner Brothers going, hang on, what have you got in that bag? That looks and smells nice. No, you're not giving that to Billy down the road. We're taking that. That's how that third party sell-on thing will work out. But what we want to know about is, what does this mean for the DCEU? What does this mean for the newly created Black Label? We're going to be seeing the Joker movie very, very shortly. It's a brilliant film, of course. But what does this mean for the for the future of these DC movies? Well, I think a very exciting future. J.J. Abrams' reputation in the past few years has absolutely been tarnished. He's not the J.J. Abrams that everybody absolutely loved, throughout the world. The consumer thought he was amazing. I think it was Alias and Lost that took that reputation to a new level. And the reason that Bad Robot has become such a valuable commodity, because from Alias and Lost, he went to making Star Trek films. He directed one Mission Impossible film, and of course his production company is still running that franchise, and it's a very highly successful franchise. And the lead is Tom Cruise. Not bad at all, is it? And he's got his fingers in so many pies, I couldn't even list them all. So what does this mean for DC? Well, a very long time ago, he wrote a film called Superman Flyby, of course, which he never got to make. This was a big, big regret for JJ. This is a massive opportunity for him. This is not just, JJ is a businessman. And I think partly his creative career in the past 10 years has really suffered because of his obsession to keep the business side going, being a businessman rather than a creative and a director. So, he's about to write, he pretty much written and directed his second Star Wars film. He's made 2 Star Trek films. One of the things with JJ is, and people say about him, he doesn't finish what he starts. Well, if he's going to make a Superman film, we don't want any of that nonsense. And I think he's actually show running and writing his own TV show, which he hasn't done since Alias. I think he's doing that for Apple. So he obviously is going to be writing and directing again. And I think what he'll do is he'll leave most of the business side of the Bad Robot stuff to his wife, which I think is a great idea. She doesn't really need him interfering. He needs to be a writer. He needs to be a director. He needs to show the fans, especially DC fans and other franchises from Warner Brothers, Warner Media, that he means, that he's in the game. He wants to be a creative and not a businessman, because I think that's been the problem. He's had his fingers in too many pies, and sometimes his fingers have got burnt, like they did with Star Trek Into Darkness, and then moving from Star Trek to Star Wars. So apparently Disney and Apple and Netflix all tried to bid for Bad Robot, but they failed because Warner Brothers offered the all-round deal. It wasn't necessarily the financial package, although the financial package was important. I think it's what they were offered. They were offered everything. I mean, the opportunity for gaming as well is massive. I mean, Bad Robot Gaming started in 2018, if I remember rightly. I'm not sure how successful they are, but obviously Warner Brothers Gaming do a lot. So that's another fantastic avenue for Bad Robot's avenue in gaming as well. So it was an all-round deal. But for J.J. Abrams, when he puts his creative head on, knows that he can write and direct any TV show for HBO Max, any movie for HBO Max, and if he wants, in the theatrical circuit for theatrical movies, he can take any franchise he wants. So I think there were rumours about him doing Superman and Green Lantern. Now, Green Lantern Corps, Green Lantern Corps, right, I always say it wrong, but is meant to be written, at the moment, Jeff Johns is supposed to be writing that movie. Now, is that still the case? Or have they totally pushed Jeff Johns out of the company? Who knows? We will soon find out. Now, a few months back, he was still talking about it, and he's still saying it's in development. I don't know if the company will take it, but I'm definitely writing it. So that'll be interesting. So obviously, Jeff Johns is not a director, so he could very well be directing it. Or could there be a rewrite of the Green Lantern movie where Jeff Johns and J.J. Abrams write that movie and J.J. directs the movie as well? Very interesting. But there's one thing for sure. If he does a Superman film, he'll probably do it all himself. That's going to be his baby. This is going to be the opportunity of a lifetime. He's a Superman fan. This is what he's wanted his whole career. So, of course, he wanted a great deal for Bad Robot. But Warner Brothers gave him the opportunity, through owning DC and Superman, the opportunity to make this movie. And probably this is why we've had to wait for a Superman movie for so long. So I'm very confident that he will do a Superman movie. Now, a lot of kind of Nelly-Knowles who know nothing are saying, well, don't expect him to start working on DC films straight away. Look, whenever he starts, whenever he doesn't start, it doesn't matter. The thing is, he's at Warner Brothers now. This is a very intelligent, clever man. And I'm quite happy to let go of the fact that he doesn't finish off franchises he works on. He's exclusively at Warner Brothers now. That's the point. There's no going off to Disney, And as I said before, he had a great history with Disney, and there were rumours that they wanted to buy him exclusively. And that's interesting because his Bad Robot company did Alias and Lost for ABC. So that's really interesting how they never were able to compete with Warner Brothers. And I think that Disney weren't willing to give him the overall deal, the power at the studio he craved. And that's the difference. I mean, you could argue that pretty much J.J. Abrams and Katie McGrath and Bad Robot are now running the creative side of Warner Media. Rumours even say that it was their idea, or Katie McGrath insisted in Ann Sarnoff as the new CEO of Warner Brothers, in fact insisting that Kevin Sujihara go. So, if you like, she's even put her own person in at the top of the company. So, look, it's very, very interesting. Is this a bad thing? No, it's not. Because Katie McGrath is a very intelligent woman, and J.J. Abrams is one of the top creatives who's friendly with so many other creatives in the industry. And we know one of those creatives is Zack Snyder. So we have to discuss this. Is this a positive or a negative for Zack Snyder? Look, I think if you're J.J. Abrams and Katie McGrath and you've been able to oust the CEO and bring in your own CEO, you pretty much can do what you want. Now, does this mean that J.J. Abrams, in his mind thinks that Zack was badly treated? That's very, very, very interesting now. And this is what I mean. With J.J. there, the potential is limitless. Not only is he a genius director, a genius writer, He knows other genius writers, other directors, and he's friends with Zack Snyder and other people. He's friends with George Lucas, for crying out loud. He's friends with Christopher Nolan. He's friends with a lot of people. This is going to be a more happy family. This is why I was really happy about the AT&T merger with Time Warner, because I just felt it was the right move. Now, AT&T are a company who have put themselves in a lot of debt to buy this company. But every company is in debt, so don't believe the negative kind of things or this thing that AT&T don't care about DC Comics. They absolutely do. They know how valuable it is, and the comics must be successful for the films and the TV shows. Basically, the comics are the advertising catalogue. And if that don't look good, then people aren't going to be coming to the films or the TV shows or the animated show. So it's all very, very important. So this is why I think, when you look at AT&T, John Stankey running Warner Media now as well, another great move by AT&T. So they certainly are a company who seem to know what they're doing. And this is a glorious day for us to have J.J. Abrams exclusively, once he finishes those other projects, Apple and Amazon or wherever else he's working, he's exclusively ours. And he can start working on a Superman movie. I absolutely have no doubt. Now, let's just say that he does decide to bring back Zack Snyder, and that he does decide, look, Zack, I want you to come back. I want to help with the Snyder Cut. You can do whatever else you want, but you're not having Superman anymore. I want Superman. That's my baby. Or maybe him and Zack maybe could write the Superman film together. We're dreaming here. As Chris Wong Spencer would say, it's tinfoil time, isn't it? But who knows? You've pretty much got a director pretty much in charge of the biggest studio in the global economy. So it's very, very exciting. So I do expect him to be involved with a Superman film. And as I say, if you're a Zack Snyder fan, as I am, and a fan of Man of Steel and Batman v Superman, you should be excited. You should be excited for the potential release of the Snyder Cut too. This all works. Ann Sarnoff coming in, Katie coming in, JJ coming in. These are all new building blocks that we wanted. Sujihara being ousted. These are massive events, and these are only good for DCEU fans, for DC Comics fans, for all of us to be excited that we've just landed one of the best creatives in the entertainment industry.